Well, howdy diddly dandy there, chums. 'Tis I, Captain of the Steves, and today, chums, for you guys out there in the viewerverse, I'm doing a review of the Utopia Expedition with inside of the Fractal update for No Man's Sky. Right, so this expedition, it took me 3 hours and 38 minutes. You can see the previous Polestar Redux took me longer, and that's a Redux. This is a very quick expedition. And here it is here, and it gives us a total of 6 weeks. Now, I completed this within like the first 3 days of it being out, and that's doing all my content creation in between, and taking my time with it, basically, people. Yeah, 6 weeks they've given us to run this. It doesn't really need the full 6 weeks. But you know what, small things sometimes come in good packages, and boy is this good. I really enjoyed this expedition because it gives you a profession inside of No Man's Sky, and it gives some sort of reason or something to do in abandoned systems. So abandoned systems at the moment, there's no real reason to go to them, but you come to this system and you're going around cataloguing stuff, doing missions, and it feels like you're actually doing something worthwhile. The most important thing that you're probably thinking though, what are the rewards like? Well, if you complete the full expedition, you're going to get this freaking gnarly ship, this speeder, and it's awesome. It turns on a freaking dime. It's awesome, this ship. And I also like the way that it looks. It looks pretty darn freaking groovy. It looks straight out of Star Wars. So dude, does this helmet you're going to get. I mean, look at it. It's a Sith helmet, and you get that as a reward too, people. This expedition does bring with it a bit of repetition. You are going to be going to archives predominantly and one trading post, and you're going to be picking up a mission package, and that mission package is going to tell you to bring down a blueprint machine that you're going to be needing to get your technology for your exosuit, your multi-tool, your ship, and also your base parts, and bring them down to the actual planet. You don't get your actual warp drive till the very last phase and then leave the system, and it feels like you're actually doing stuff in the system for your boss, this organization that you're working for, to try and bring life back into this sort of area of space, or at least catalogue and do things and put down bases and make it feel like it's habitable again, which I kind of really like the basic premise of it. And I'm really hoping that Hello Games are looking at this and thinking, actually, let's bring in some professions into the universe, and this could be one of them, you know, a restoration clerk or something. I don't know what they're going to call it, but yeah, it's got comms balls, quite funny ones. Jesus died for us just there. And then you go over the hill, and this one popped up, Hail Satan. I freaking howled. I was in stitches at that. But, you know, each to their own. What makes us laugh? It was just the randomness of it that made me giggle, not the religious aspect at all. It's just one person trolling another. And that person that put down the first comms ball probably has never seen the second one until this video. So there we go. Awesome fun. So yeah, lots of comms balls, stuff that sometimes it's real weldy, and it breaks the immersion for a second, but it always happens, doesn't it? I really wish there was a filter to turn off all comms balls, so if you're not into that, you can at least turn it off. I also wish there was another toggle to toggle off other people's bases, because you still see them even if you turn off multiplayer, but that would be quite nice, as well as a visual cue. Some of the missions inside of this one are quite cool, like scanning all creatures on this planet. There was only 6 creatures to be scanned, and you had to find all 6. And yeah, that was quite a good little task. Yeah, nice one, like that one. There was a few others that I really enjoyed doing as well, like getting the underwater pearls. At least there wasn't a heck of a lot of them to do, so you only had to get 3. None of this felt like busy work. Even though you've got a profession and a job to do, it didn't feel busy. It felt fun. I enjoyed it. One part that I didn't enjoy too much is each base that you put down. As you progress through, it's going to cost you more and more chromatic metal and more pure ferrite. For whatever reason, I don't know, but there's a lot of copper gathering. Now, considering this is that you're building all these habitable structures, you don't unlock a great deal of base parts as rewards. You get a fair few, but not the full repertoire of the base parts, which would have been really nice for some new players jumping in to get all the base parts off the back of this expedition. But no, they give you enough, but yeah, it's mainly the prefabs and the wooden building parts you get, and some of the technology bits. None of the swanky parts that make it look like the Mandalorian town. So like I touched on earlier, you're going to be putting down these little fabricator machines, and you seem to get a new fabricator machine each system you go through. Well, each planet you land on, you get given a new fabricator, and that gives you access to new technology trees. And I like the fact that they've married up the actual missions you've got to do with the technology you're unlocking. So as you get your multi-tool one, you're going to get more combat-oriented tasks to do, like get a load of larval cores from those dangerous little pesky aliens. Yes, they've actually put some thought into this one. everything felt like it was meant to be done in phase order. None of this random jumping around and doing badges in separate phases into separate areas. And I really enjoyed making my playlist and doing a playthrough on this because it gave me sections for my videos. So I liked it for my own reasons as well. So now for my synopsis and my overall feeling with this one. The actual rewards are great. The amount of time you got to invest is small, but what you get out of it is massive, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed this one. So one of my favourite ones was Leviathan, where you start on your freighter as a bridge commander, because it just put another take on No Man's Sky in a roundabout way, a different way of playing, and a different sort of paradigm. Well, this is similar. I mean, that could be a profession, just being a freighter commander. That would be pretty cool. So each of these is almost like having a different profession inside of No Man's Sky, and I really like it for that role-play type element. I just wish that they would put some of these role-play type elements in as endgame sort of content. So after you've done the main story and you're working at the Nexus, perhaps you can pick up professions from Nada and Polo. I like that idea. So the missions felt purposeful, they felt thought out, the badges were lovely, there was some uniformity between each of the different phases and the badges that you're popping, and it felt like you knew what you was doing from area to area. After you'd done the first two phases, you kind of knew what the rest of the phases were going to be. Some people would say that was a bit monotonous, a bit repetitive, but I actually enjoyed it because it felt like a day-to-day job. You know, that's welcome to life, people. Yeah, pretty darn cool, but it was cool to have that inside of the No Man's Sky verse, and the actual rewards, as I say, are freaking awesome in this one. I really like the ship. I really like the helmet. I mean, yes, everybody's going to have the same thing for a while and going to be running around in this for the first couple of months. And yeah, that kind of takes a little bit of the shine off of the rewards, but give it maybe another 6 months where we've had a couple of other expeditions maybe, and then people are going to forget about this ship, and then I'm going to be flying around in it a lot more. But I am going to be flying around in it for now because, yeah, it even matches my logo colours. I know I really lucked out on this one. I really did. So you know me, I like to put scores on things. So what's the scores on the doors? George Doors. I'm going to be giving this one, I think, a solid 9 out of 10. Because I really enjoyed it. It didn't feel grindy. It felt fun from start to finish. And yeah, I know that some people would say, well, there's repetition in there, but the rewards were well worth it. And come on, it wasn't that long, really, was it? Anyway, goodbye, and goodbye again. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please hit a like and a subscribe. And I'd like to say a massive, great big thank you to all of my backers over on Patreon and over on YouTube membership. Thanking you, backers. And if you want to support this channel, just don't skip the adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or yeah, just stay with Captain Steve that little bit longer and hit something on this screen. There's merch here now too.